there's been a lot of question on how Popular went public. So I just thought, we had a team that took our organization public, and it was a 3-member team. Our present MD, my nephew, Mr. Naveen Philip, our CEO, Raj Narayan, who's just over a year with us, and our CFO, Mr. John Verghese, who's been our CFO for a few years now, quite a few years now. I thought it was best to hear from him. And so, Mr. John Verghese will take it forward.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Distinguished dignitaries, as well as friends from FADA. It's an honor for me to be sharing our experience in our IPO journey with you all. Most of the members over here today in the dealer fraternity would be entrepreneurs of their respective organizations. And some of the key elements of being an entrepreneur is to have that vision, to have that passion, to grow your company, to be innovative. These, I guess, are basic aspects of entrepreneur. So the first aspect of going for an IPO is who should be going for an IPO? I mean, it's not that every dealership needs to go through an IPO. So if you are an entrepreneur who has all these visions, need a growth story, and you're not able to do this in the future, IPO is a good platform to go ahead with. But there could be other dealerships where, growth may not be a main aspect. There could be other businesses that entrepreneur would be doing. Maybe he's got some real estate in which front end he want to do some automobile. So for them, I think the conversation ends over here. But for those who are really passionate and who want to take the dealership to a much greater heights than what they are doing today, I think IPO is one such area or one such tool that can be used for growing beyond what you're doing today. Just to share with you the growth story of Kuttukaran Group, or the Popular Group as you know it more commonly. This group, the founder started way back in the 1930s with spare parts distribution. In fact, this group was one of the largest spare parts distributor in India, selling in Bombay, Calcutta, and many other parts of India. So that's the kind of vision that they had. And then in '84, that's when the dealership started with Maruti, with the first dealership. We were among the first dealers of Maruti Udyog at that point of time. And from there, we went to create more dealerships with other OEMs. And today, as we speak, we are one of the biggest dealerships across in India. So this kind of vision, I'm sure, would be there for many people sitting here. And this is the background of what we were before going for an IPO. So sometime in the late 2010, in the first decade of the century, when they knew that they wanted to grow more than what they were doing, that's when initially what we did was they brought in a private equity into the firm. So in 2015, we brought a private equity. And normally they have a period of 6 to 7 years when they have to unlock their this thing. And one of the options that the private equity had is to go for an IPO. So this is the background of what we had when we went for an IPO. Second, as I mentioned, if you want to unlock your value, this is another way of unlocking your value, because it could be that in future you want to dilute some of your stake for whatever reasons, or more importantly, you want to raise some funds, because as you know, as the earlier session which we mentioned, funds can be, if you raise through banks, there's a limitation, because all this has to be collateralized, and there's an interest burden of maybe 9 to 10% or even more, which you need to bear, which again hits your P&L, hits your leverage, hits your credit rating. Again, the value of the organization again is hit to that extent. So obviously it makes sense to go for an IPO if you want to get funds easily available for your company. Another reason that you could go for an IPO, and which many of you could be facing, is the succession planning. The Gen Z may not find this industry kind of sexy as for them to carry forward, but you would like to carry this forward ahead for the passion that you have. So IPO is another way of ensuring that you take forward this organization to bigger heights. Second question is when to go for this IPO. I mean, these are the best of times, and I think most of the panelists and the earlier discussions we talked about India's GDP and being the fourth largest economy, and many other aspects were talked about. I mean, these are the best times for us. I mean, the Nifty Auto, as you know, is zooming for the last 5 years, so this is the best time to go for an IPO. But more importantly, if your own organization, the most important aspect that you have to see is your financials should be, as they said, the balance sheet should be proper. So certain aspects, I mean, if you as an investor in the stock exchange, or anybody, any investor, any analyst, will look at 3-4 critical aspects through your financials which you share with them. One is, of course, consistent growth. That definitely is there as to why, I mean, if you have had pitfalls in the near past, there could be, if there are reasons for it, fair enough. There could be outlier years like the COVID years, but otherwise, if you have to show a consistent performance, only then you'll have interest of investors investing in your organization. Secondly, investors look for good ROC. Companies with good high ROC. Now it could differ, there's no benchmark, but there are different investors having different benchmarks for themselves, so threshold limits could be anything between 15% to 20%, depending on the kind of investment or the risk that the investor wants to take. And of course, a low leverage company, a high debt equity ratio, a company which takes a lot of loans, and as again mentioned about short-term using long-term, those kind of financial discipline definitely is a no-no. So the one prior requirement before going to IPO is to have clean balance sheet for a few years before you think of going for an IPO. Otherwise, there will be a lot of pushback when we go for an IPO. Another requirement that we have, I mean, all organizations would have, is the buzzword corporate governance. This is quite a big word, but then to be more specific, companies which go for an IPO, you'll have to, I mean, slowly the powers will change from a promoter-driven to a board-driven kind of an organization. So you'll have independent directors, you'll have various committees like audit committees, stakeholders committee, the remuneration compensation committee. So remunerations of the directors, of the group, of the key personals, all these will be decided by the committee. So it'll be more driven by the board than earlier. So you should be ready to share those powers with the board which we're having till now. Of course, as I said, in corporate governance, there are a whole lot of aspects of risk management. So you'll have various things like chief risk officer, you'll have something called the BRSR, or the business responsibility and sustainability report. ESG will play an important part. The internal audit function per se also will be very crucial for ensuring corporate governance. So all these will have more importance, more relevance as we become an IPO company. Certain other aspects which you have to keep in mind, again, purely from an accounting point of view, there's something called India's or Indian accounting standards, especially for us, those who are taking out locations on rental basis and not own property. So the rentals, till now, if you're not following India's, you're supposed to write it off. But then if you become a public company, listed company, you'll have to follow something called India's 116, which could be a huge hit in your P&L going forward. So that is another aspect that you need to consider. Of course, more details we can discuss later offline. I'm willing to share with any more details that you require. So how, as I mentioned, that after taking, the auditors per se, of course, we have one of the big four in us, but this gives a perception to the investors if you have a good auditor in place so that they also, they can trust the accounts that we publish year on year. But the process as such, of course, you will have the bankers to support you. So you'll have the bankers, the legal advisors, so all of them who support you, typically between, I mean, they say 6 to 8 months' time, but then depending on how ready you are with your documentation. In fact, there is something called the DRHP, RHP, which you heard of. Every single sentence that you put in the RHP or the DRHP has to be backed up by documents. You cannot say, I am the biggest company in India without having a specific document to prove it. So every line and every sentence that you have needs to be backed up by documents and your secretarial function. I mean, the board meetings, the minutes of the meetings of not just now, for the past so many years, all these have to be properly maintained and kept for due diligence. So these were some of the aspects I thought I should share with you. Look forward for many of you all to come aboard as a listed company, because this space, there's hardly 3 of us in the listed space from our community. We look forward to more to join us and willing to share with you all or participate or train or be of any kind of support for any organization who wants to be listed in the future. Thank you so much. If there are any questions to be answered.
I'd like to add a couple of things. Mr. John was saying he was talking about the vision about going public. I'd just like to add that today, this year, is our 85th year in business. And when Maruti first advertised for dealerships in 82, 83, we applied saying that if we do get the dealership, it will be in a new company. And this company was registered as a public limited company in 1983. We had then thought, unlike our private partnership firms, they should be separate, there should be, accountability. And hence, we continued in that way. And before we went public, we had gone for private equity. The initial talk started in 2007. So it's almost 17 years before we finally materialized into a public limited company that is publicly listed. Any other question?
Well, do we have any
Thank you.
questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Varghese and Mr. Paul, for joining us for this lovely session. Thank you. Well, right now is the time that you have been waiting for. I know it's time for the tea break, and it's going to be for 10 minutes. Felicitation. Also, I would like to request all of you to stay back on stage for a minute. Hi, everyone. There is one felicitation that we have to do for now. I would request Mr. Varghese and Mr. Paul to please join us back on stage. And I would like to request Mr. Bharat M. Sangvi to join us on stage to felicitate Mr. Varghese and Mr. Paul. Can we have thunderous applauses, everyone out here? And I would request you all for a group picture. Thank you so much, Mr. Varghese, Mr. Paul, and Mr. Bharat for joining us on stage.